Hello everyone, my name is Samir Sharma and today we're going to be going over Professor Robert Solis' Exam 2 for his CS 232 class. I have one header file and I have two source files in order to create the task, and that task is to go ahead and get a user input for the side length of a cube and then create the cube using spaces and stars. Spaces mean like blanks and stars kind of like the asterisk mark on the keyboard. So for the header file, I kind of went through and utilized Professor Robert Solis's video kind of showing us how to start this, and we use the libraries right here, and then we also have the private declarations, and then right here we have the public declarations. Then we also have the source file right here. Same thing, libraries. We have the class cube, and then essentially in the int variable user num. We had to ask the user, hey, enter a side value, and then we assign that to user num. And then we can't just go ahead and say this line is 3 stars, this is 3 blanks, next line 2 stars, and then 5 blanks, because it's going to be different for every time you have a different value that the user inputs. So we have to write a specific kind of pattern, which is essentially in a code that will work for any user input essentially. So Professor Robert Solis kind of helped us with the informational video he provided, and we kind of went through all this all the way till part 3, where he was able to kind of show us how to start, where we went over the setup, the top row, the slanted rows, and then the middle of the cube. Our goal was to go ahead and finish part 4, the front face of the cube, and part 5, the last row. So similar to part 2, we had to use a for loop and then include these commands right here. But the only difference is that we're going to be going ahead and doing a decrement, so that way the stars can kind of go like this on the right side, so it looks more like a cube. And then part 5, we went ahead and just said, okay, the last row is going to be whatever the user inputted, that value is going to be how many stars for the bottom row. So let me go ahead and run the program so I can go ahead and show you guys that it works. So I'm going to go ahead and run it. So we're going to enter a side value. We're going to go ahead and enter a side value of 5. Boom. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what was easy about this is kind of being able to follow Professor Robert Solis's very informational video. Essentially, the organization that was provided and the explanations, it really kind of helped us get to the part where we had to think for ourselves. And the comments are also a really, really good part, so that way if you do mess up or you do miswrite something, essentially the comments are there to go ahead and let you know, like, hey, what is that part of the code gonna do? So you can say, oh, it's supposed to do this, but I actually wrote that, so it's easier to kind of go back and fix whatever I miswrote. Some of the harder things was kind of going for part 4. I'd say part 5 was pretty easy because it's just this one line of code right here. But part 5, I had to go ahead and do some trial and error. I had to see what could I do to fix the code, because whenever I put certain code in there, it came out very close to what I wanted, but not quite. So kind of the trial and error was the harder part for me, but I was able to get through it, and I was able to get the results. So I hope everybody found this helpful. Thank you for listening, and I wish you guys a great night.